I've lived here just a bit over 36 years. It was a very nice estate when we first moved in, really nice. And for a good many years it was a very desirable estate to live on. Everybody got on with their lives, they got on with their neighbours. You know, and you could find that maybe the neighbour next door, who maybe come from Africa or from Eastern Europe or Latin America, were people who would actually look after the older people as well, you know. They were there. So it was nice, everybody seemed to be there for one another, to keep an eye on one another. I mean, next door I had a Filipino family, and they were very kind to everybody, and the woman that lived there, Myrna, she used to look after the old lady next door and make sure she was okay. And then on the other side there was a guy living there who, you know, if anyone needed any help, they only had to call on him, he'd be there. And as far as crime was concerned, it had the lowest crime rate of the area. I mean, I used to be able to walk through this estate at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning on my own in the dark and not have a single worry. Yeah, it wasn't a lot of communities with a community, it was then just one big community, and it got destroyed by the regeneration. A lot of people didn't want to move because they liked the estate, they liked the flats, they liked their masonettes, particularly in the masonettes they didn't want to move. But as time went on and the regeneration went on and on and on, because this is like the third set of developments that we've had, and then people started to move out, properties were left empty. People started thinking, well, don't like it like this, I'd like to move somewhere where we've got a nice settled community again. You know, and when you're left with just a few of us, as we are now, it is not nice to live here on your own. It really has deteriorated. In fact, the council has not done any proper maintenance, any scheduled, planned maintenance to these properties, to anywhere on this estate, since 1979. All they've ever done is really firefighting. If there's been a problem, they've dealt with it. Quite often only after a lot of complaints. When it's rebuilt, it's going to be drastically different, because I said this years ago, you will either have people who are earning a lot of money living here who can afford to buy, or you will have people who are on full housing council tax state benefits, because they'll be the only ones who can afford to stay if there's social housing. But other people in between that bracket won't be able to stay around here, so you'll get basically rich people, poor people, but nobody in between. Yeah, there's not been that many new developments with that amount of new social housing in it, because at one point it was only 25%, then Ken Livingstone was trying to get it up to 50%, then Boris brought it down again. Well, if you include into that half of that is going to be shared ownership, if you're putting up, say, 40 affordable housing, it's going to be 20 for rent, 20 for shared ownership. Cutting it down, cutting it down, cutting it down. So that's why people are having to move to areas where they wouldn't normally have considered moving to. And what they're trying to, what we were told once was, at the beginning, what they were trying to do was to introduce a better class of people to the Elephant and Castle. This we were told by a council director who is no longer with us, who left some years ago. A better class of people. Well, I said you can't get a better class of people than us.